Hello, and thank you for joining us. Coming up next in our World News program. At least 20 residents, including many children, were able to flee a critically damaged steel mill in Mariupol. President Volodymyr Zelensky held an in-person meeting with U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Palestinian martyr Yahya Adwan was carried to his village of Azun in the northern occupied West Bank after he had been killed in a Zionist army operation in the town. 1st of May, also known as International Labor Day, is celebrated around the world to honor workers and laborers across industries and sectors. Hello again, those were today's headlines, and the beginning is from Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated on Sunday that his country has witnessed fresh shelling in the region of Dnipropetrovsk and Odessa.
Today the occupiers again shelled the region of Odessa with missiles. Again and again, Russian troops prove that people of Odessa are the same enemies for Russia as all other Ukrainians. The runway of Odessa airport was destroyed. We will of course rebuild it. But Odessa will never forget such a Russian attitude towards it.
At least 20 residents, including many children, were able to flee a critically damaged steel mill in Mariupol, Ukraine's port city, in what may be the start of a long-awaited bigger evacuation of the city's final stronghold. The 20 people had departed, according to Ukrainian forces, from the Azov regiment, who had been guarding the location. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Saturday held an in-person meeting with U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi in Kiev and shared a video of her visit.
Thank you for this gesture of strong support for Ukraine from the United States, the people of the United States, Congress, bicameral and bipartisan support. As President, our team and the people of Ukraine, I greatly appreciate this gesture. Today, the United States is the leader in strong support for Ukraine during the war against the aggression of the Russian Federation.
Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said in a statement that Russia has hit 17 Ukrainian military facilities with high-precision missiles on Saturday, and also destroyed a command post and a warehouse used to store rockets and artillery. Let's listen.
High-precision airspace missiles of the Russian aerospace forces have hit 17 Ukrainian military assets during the day, among them 8 areas of manpower and equipment concentration, 5 artillery and multiple rocket launcher firing position, and 2 strong points. Also destroyed 1 command post and 1 missile and artillery weapons depot near Pokrovsky region.
Speaking in his evening address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday that Russia had lost more than 23,000 soldiers in what he described as a senseless war. He added that Ukraine had destroyed more than 1,000 military tanks since the beginning of the conflict.
Our defenders have already destroyed more than 1,000 Russian tanks, almost 200 Russian planes, almost 2,500 armored fighting vehicles. Of course, the occupiers still have equipment in stock. Yes, they still have missiles to strike our territory. But this war has already weakened Russia so much that they have to plan for even fewer military equipment to take part in parade in Moscow.
In an interview, Sergei Lavrov stated that if the US and NATO are serious about resolving the issue, they should cease arming Ukraine. Moscow claims that supplying weapons will exacerbate the situation and heighten the stakes of the fight. According to a report of a Russian ministry official, Moscow believes the risk of nuclear war should be kept to a minimum and that any armed conflict between nuclear powers should be prevented. Vladimir Yermakov, the foreign ministry's head of nuclear non-proliferation, said all nuclear powers must stick to the logic laid out in official documents aimed at preventing nuclear war. The German Federal Minister of Finance, Christian Lindner, said on Saturday that Germany doesn't agree to pay for Russian gas in rubles and has no such plans in the future as it seeks energy independence. Lindner tweeted that they are doing everything they can to become independent from Russian energy as quickly as possible. The Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Sunday rejected criticism that Germany was not showing leadership in Western efforts to supply Ukraine with heavy weapons to repel Russia's invasion, saying that he'd rather be cautious than make hasty decisions. Scholz is under pressure and at home and abroad to supply Ukraine with heavy arms, tanks, and howitzers and support an immediate EU embargo on Russian energy imports to strip President Vladimir Putin of hard currency that helps him finance the war. Serbia on Saturday showed off its new Chinese-made surface-to-air missiles and other military hardware purchased from both Russia and the West, as the country seeks to perform a delicate balancing act over Moscow's military operation in Ukraine. Osama Ayadi in the following.
Serbia displayed on Saturday a recently delivered Chinese anti-aircraft missile system, which has raised concerns in the West and among some of Serbia's neighbors that the continuing arms buildup in the Balkans could threaten peace in the region.
These are weapons that you can't use in other territories. You can use it only in Serbia territory, but it has a very dissuasive effect at any potential aggressor.
The sophisticated HQ-22 surface-to-air system was delivered last month by a dozen Chinese Air Force Y-20 transport planes in what was believed to be the largest ever airlift delivery of Chinese arms to Europe. Although Serbia officially seeks membership of the European Union, it has been arming itself mostly with Russian and Chinese weapons, including T-72 battle tanks, MiG-29 fighter jets, Mi-35 attack helicopters and drones. Back in 2020, US officials warned Belgrade against the purchase of HQ-22 missile systems, whose export version is known as FK-3. They said if Serbia really wants to join the EU and other Western alliances, it must align its military equipment with Western standards.
And for those who say that we represent a problem for the region, and all the nonsense talk that I heard in the past weeks and months, as you can see, they were lies. Serbia preserves peace and stability. Serbia will continue to do so, but Serbia will no longer allow itself to be a punching bag, as this could unfortunately have been the case until a few years ago.
The Chinese missile system has been widely compared to the American Patriot and the Russian S-300 surface-to-air missile systems, although it has a shorter range of more advanced S-300s.
Due to limitations imposed by the largest COVID-19 outbreaks in 2 years, Chinese industrial activity plummeted to its lowest level since February 2020 in April. The National Bureau of Statistics issued official data on Saturday, showing that the Purchasing Managers' Index for China's manufacturing sector fell by 2.1 percentage points to 47.4 in April, the lowest level since February 2020. And moving on to another topic now, people carried the dead body of Palestinian martyr Yahya Adwan during his funeral in his village of Azun in the northern occupied West Bank after he was killed in a Zionist army operation in the town. Occupation forces killed a Palestinian man overnight in the occupied northern West Bank, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, which added that the man in his 20s was shot in the chest during an attack of the Zionist army operation in the city of Azov. Iraqi security forces announced on Saturday the dismantlement of 2 drug trafficking networks and the arrest of 10 people, including 5 nationals of Arab countries, as well as the seizure of 6 million Captagon tablets. Marwa Ali were in the following.
Iraq has become an important stage on the route of trafficking Captagon, an amphetamine-type stimulant almost exclusively manufactured and consumed in the Middle East. 3 Iraqi nationals and 4 suspects from other Arab countries were arrested in connection with the trafficking networks.
Iraqi National Security Service detachments managed to deal a heavy blow to drug traffickers, since they were able to dismantle 2 international drug trafficking networks composed of 10 individuals of Arab and Iraqi nationality.
In a warehouse in the southwest of Baghdad, the national security seized about 6.2 million tablets, which were to be sold in sectors of Baghdad and in other provinces.
Detachments of the National Security Service have discovered a large drug storage warehouse located southwest of the capital, Baghdad, where 6.2 million drug pills, or about 1 ton of poison, are stored.
The 10 defendants admitted their links with international drug trafficking networks. Convictions for drug trafficking can go as far as the death penalty in Iraq.
All the defendants have admitted their association with international drug trafficking networks and their introduction into Iraq. They have been brought before the judicial authorities for trial.
The sale and consumption of drugs have exploded in recent years in Iraq, where the security forces have intensified their operations and almost daily announce seizures of narcotics or the arrest of traffickers.
After a protest convoy halted Ottawa months ago, the nation's capital is ready for another wave of disruptive demonstrators with the Rolling Thunder. Motorcycle rally, that is. Islam's it.
Many Canadian bikers are gathering this weekend in the capital of Ottawa to demonstrate in the name of freedom, recalling the convoy of truckers, while the police have planned reinforcements and already made arrests.
The bikes are coming, and we're going to take back this monument.
Early Saturday morning, protesters marched to the National War Memorial in the heart of downtown Canada, several wearing Canadian flag on their shoulders, which has been seen as the symbol of protest movement of truckers, and the latter is widely taken up by bikers and their supporters.
I feel amazing. I feel my heart is full again being back in Ottawa, being with my friends, like-minded people, and all the veterans that I made friends with for 21 days.
The second part of the Freedom Convoy, because we have segregation here in Canada. The people who are not vaccinated cannot go on vacation.
Veterans wearing military medals on their jackets were seen among the demonstrators. The demands of Canadian bikers are not explicit, but many online claim to be demonstrating to defend freedom, while others strongly oppose Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his policies.
In my opinion, it's all about our freedoms, getting back the ones that we lost, and making sure that everybody, all Canadians, have the same ones that they're supposed to have.
On the sidelines of this rally, a counter-demonstration organized by residents took place at the same time.
So the first one was about the mandates, but now I think the snakes have exposed themselves, and this is a battle against the World Economic Forum. This is the trucks against the World Economic Forum, the blue collar versus the white collar. It's good versus evil, in my opinion.
During the weekend, motorcycles are banned in a part of a city center, where Parliament and Prime Minister's office are located. A strong police presence was visible, who have set up a security perimeter to prevent motorcycles from accessing the area.
A man was found dead in his vehicle in Guadeloupe in a flooded district of the town of Abimes after the exceptional rainfall that hit the island overnight from Friday to Saturday.
Yesterday I was crossing at the level of the ring road, and we were all passing there. An SUV had opened the way, and there is an SUV which passed at full speed on the left lane, and which made a big wave. In effect, it lifted the car, and it flooded my engine. Instantly impossible to restart it. And we will say, in panic, I didn't receive any help to get out of there.
A huge tornado erupted as beautiful clouds built up above the Kansas plains at sundown on Friday evening. A video recorded on April 29th at Harrington, and the tornado was caught in the distance with gusts of wind and booming thunder in the background. Later, the Kansas storm left a path of devastation in its wake, knocking out power to millions. Sudanese security forces fired tear gas at crowds who massed in Khartoum on Saturday to rally against military rule and mark the third anniversary of the killing of scores of protesters. The crowds blocked a major road junction in the capital and laid out food to break their Ramadan fast. But just before sundown, officers began breaking up the rally and chased demonstrators into side streets. From all the consultations undertaken at all levels since the beginning of the transition with all the components of the nation, with all Guineans wherever they are, there is a median proposal of a consensual duration of the 39th-month transition. The National Assembly Committee for Development and the government in turn will submit to the CNT National Council of Transition, which takes the place of Parliament.
From all consultations undertaken at all levels since the beginning of the transition, with all the components of the nation, with all Guineans, wherever they are, there is a median proposal of consensual duration of the 39-month transition. The National Assembly Committee for Development and the government in turn will submit to the CNT National Council of Transition, which takes the place of the Parliament.
The 1st of May, also known as International Labor Day, is celebrated around the world to honor workers and laborers across industries and sectors and to empower them to understand their rights. This date was chosen specifically to remember the countrywide strike for an 8-hour day in 1886, which began on May 1st and concluded in the High Market Affair in Chicago in the United States. A labor protest rally turned violent after someone threw a bomb at the police, leading to the death of 7 police officers and at least 4 civilians. Real Madrid, with the 35th La Liga title with 4 games to go on Saturday, thanks to a 4-0 home triumph over Espanyol, which was fueled by 2 goals from Rodrigo. Sofiane Kenturi in the following report.
With only 1 point needed to win the title, Madrid scored twice in the first half through the Brazilian, followed by goals from Marco Asensio and Karim Benzema at the Santiago Bernabeu.
Benzema is the finest player in the world. He'll win the Ballon d'Or, no doubt. And we'll see next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, let's rejoice first. And then we'll see on Wednesday. But Benzema is the best footballer in the world today. By far, by far.
With 4 games remaining, Madrid has 17-point lead over the second-placed Sevilla. Barcelona has a game in hand, but is 18 points behind the leaders. Madrid winning a league they had controlled for months was unsurprising given their position at the top since November. But dips in form from Barcelona and Sevilla provided the opportunity for an early coronation that predicted.
I believe we will succeed. And I believe this celebration will give the team more energy and show them that they are capable of defeating Manchester City. Let's go look for them. We're going to get them.
Madrid can now focus entirely on the second leg of their semi-final against Manchester City, which takes place at home on Wednesday. They must overcome a 4-3 setback in the first leg last week to advance to another European final. For the visit of Espanyol, Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti rested Benzema and Vinicius Jr. from the start, and Rodrigo took advantage with 2 goals late in the first half.
Here is a reminder of our top stories. At least 20 residents, including many children, were able to flee a critically damaged steel mill in Mariupol. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held an in-person meeting with U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Palestinian martyr Yahya Adwan was carried to his village of Azun in the northern occupied West Bank after he had been killed in a Zionist army operation in the town. The 1st of May, also known as International Labor Day, is celebrated around the world to honor workers and laborers across industries and sectors. Well, that's the end of our program. Thank you for tuning in to our channel, and bye for now.